My dearest council members, it is with considerable delight that I send you this report. It fills my heart to think of you all reading this missive together, alone, in the council chamber, separate from your lackeys and your serfs, so as to agree upon what you will tell my people of my success. It fills my heart because this is the last report you will ever be able to twist to your own ends and taint my victories. Hereafter, I will not be sending reports. I will be issuing orders. This paper marks the final report I send as a servant to the Council of Seven. Henceforth, I shall not report to you like a dog returning to his masters. No, you shall report to me as sheep to the shepherd. Until now, I have been king in our people's name only. I was not as blind and foolish as you thought, and I was aware of the lack of power that I held. The people followed me, but you haggard old men, you held the real power. And it is therefore squarely at your feet that blame is to be laid for the stagnation rife in our nation. You sought to divert the eyes of the mob from these troubles by having them believe in my expedition. I was the diversion you required, and thus you sanctioned my glorious reclamation. Yes, let the people follow their champion to certain death, you thought. What ill could befall the Seven? You would be the benevolent leaders who granted the king this glorious charge, and then you would be the morning vigil, awaiting my return day after day, dutifully paying respects to the people who followed me to their certain deaths. All the while you would be shifting focus away from your corruption and treachery. No longer. I am pleased to report that the traitor states of Gondor and Dol Amroth have been defeated, and that he who was made to kneel has been banished to the void. The banners of my people fly high above the towers of Minas Tirith, Minas Morgul, Barad-dûr, Osgiliath, and Dol Amroth. I have achieved ultimate victory, and now, my dear crippled old wretches, I will shortly make for Hjalonde at the head of 30,000 loyal and devoted men. Upon my return, I shall take up the throne anew. No longer will it be a symbol only. No longer will the rightful rulers of our land be constrained by the words of some feeble old men. No longer will I come begging to you for a scrap of the power that should rightfully be mine. You will, therefore, do well to leave Hjalonde before my return. You would do very well, in fact, to leave the bounds of my nation and never return, for I will show you for what you are. I will uncover the years of corruption, and I will pull away the veil you have cast over the people's eyes. You will be forgotten, and a new name will be honored. A new name will be etched in the memory of our people, and a new name will be held high with the Golden One. I left your shores as Ar-Gimelkad, but I will return as Ar-Arûm, King of Kings, and it is my name they will remember. Upon my return, whether you have taken my advice or not, I shall dissolve your pathetic council and assume direct rulership of my people. Further, I shall correct a long-standing stain in our history and rename our capital from that hated elven tongue into our own. There is only one who has given more than I have in ensuring our victory, and it is he I would honor. The city shall henceforth take the name of Fazan, the king's son. As reward for recompense for his duty and his part in our success, I shall also give my surviving son, Gimmelzor, rule over the newly conquered lands of Gondor and Mordor. I have given him ultimate authority and power to do as he wishes in these lands, and he will answer to me and me alone. You will find no respite or sanctuary in his lands. I have also spoken to the tribes of Rhûn and Harad in my authority as king, and I have brokered alliances with both. I will see that you find no respite in the deserts of the south or the steppe of the east. Yes, my dear council members, you will find no sanctuary, no help nor aid, no kind word nor kind gesture anywhere in Middle-earth. You will be forgotten. Yours, eternally, though no longer in service or goodwill, Ar-Adûnâim, King of Númenor in exile. My Gavanan Melonin, and well met indeed. I'm Ar-Adûnâim, and welcome back to Middle-earth as we continue on as the Ar-Adûnâim. I do hope that you enjoyed that final introduction. I thought, as I sat down to write it, there was a whirl of thoughts went through my mind as who should be who should we have this one from the perspective of? And originally, when I first started writing the very first one, I had always intended that the same person would narrate them all, and we would always see the campaign through his eyes. But then, as time's gone on, obviously, I've done them from the perspective of Gondor. Dol Amroth at various points, even did them from the Dark Númenóreans of Mordor at one point. So it didn't really matter that we were following one person's line throughout. So then I thought, you know who we've not done it in?
Yes,
is Gimmelcad himself. Or Ar-Adûnâim, as he should be now be called, the King of Kings, as he returns to the south. But we turn our attention to actually finishing the campaign and doing what he said in his letter. So, he himself is currently besieging Gobel Mirlond. We have Aldemir in the north here, attacking Tir Thraed, and then away to the east we have Gimel Zor moving in on Esthala. That would then be all of Dol Amroth's land holdings, save for Amrûn, which Harad are going to hopefully deal with, and then their final land settlement of Amun Aithel. That would then only leave the Isle of Tolfalas, where we shall crush them into nothingness up there. But we will have to deal with their last stand army, which will rise up somewhere around Dol Amroth. So my hope is that Isengard do leave me alone, and that Belzagar will be able to come south and deal with whatever happens and whatever rises. I also, just to ensure that Isengard don't give me any jip, my hope is that we might be able to force... No, that's not how it works, is it? Because I am allied to their enemy. So no, that won't do anything. I was going to give them Kalembel in the hope that they'd ally with me, which would then force me and Dol Guldur into neutrality, but I don't think it'll work. But I'm going to try it anyway. So let's get our diplomat away and up here and ready for when the time comes. What is your name, sir? Stand and present yourself. Zagarakor. 218. 202. There you go, sir. Go and wait up there for Isengard,
Your orders.
and we shall discuss with them our pending alliance. They do not know that they are going to have it with me, but they will. So I think we're at an end turn, really.
Yes,
Gibelzor's moving on a Sala. Mirlond's falling in 4 turns, a Thraed in 6, and we've got Nairion up here, who looks like he's going to try and take Tirithoros from us, which is not a good career move. Oh, they feel they have the strength at Mirlond to stop us. How foolish. For they haven't. But they believe that they have. Captain Borven, Captain Pelilas, and Captain Milion. Milion is the garrison. He has all the troops. He's got some Seaward Spearmen, some Talon Knights. Glorious forces of Dol Amroth. It's all cavalry in Pelilas's army, and Borven is a mix of just nothingness. You'll note that we've got 2 units of Royal Knights, and we've got Royal Guard, Pharazon's Faithful. We're a very anti-cavalry focused army.
Muster your courage, men.
Very
march into battle.
anti-cavalry focused army. Beorn! Beorn, alas, is dead. Something that someone commented on in totally unrelated, but it just went through my head. Yesterday's, or 2 days ago, whenever it was, the video for... no, it was yesterday, wasn't it? The Battle of Middle-earth video was Osgiliath. So I was discussing Osgiliath in the lore, and the story that we have, of course, of Boromir and Faramir being the last of 4 survivors to make it across from the eastern side before a bridge is destroyed, and they swim across the Anduin to the western side of Gondor. This event is considered by many of Tolkien's scholars to be the start of the actual War of the Ring, and it's shortly after this event that Boromir then rides north to Rivendell, and the story then begins proper. But something that someone commented on, which I hugely agree with, and that's why I'm mentioning it, because it resonated with me massively, is that when I was telling that story, I wasn't 100% sure in what I was saying to you all, because something went through my mind while I was saying it, and that was... is this story actually accurate? Because how did the Gondorians destroy the bridge across the river? And I ploughed on with the story anyway and just caveated it by this is from memory, so some aspects may be incorrect. But then one of you, my devoted and loyal following, you commented and said exactly that. The point in the story that you've always found unbelievable is how did these people who didn't have any access to gunpowder, didn't have any pre-set up siege or anything, how on earth did they manage to destroy a great stone bridge? And I find myself in full agreement of that. How did the Gondorians destroy the bridge? Because it surely just would not be possible with the technology of the time to destroy a stone bridge. But there we go. Who knows? Right, I've set up facing the army that's coming at us, which is foolish. Oh, and then I've put it into ×6, which is even more foolish. Because we don't really want to worry about this army. We want to worry about those buggers over there. So, that's the only real hill we're going to get from now. I've put myself in a bit of a bad position. There's a bit of a hill there. Go there instead. Defensive line, you can still go in front of them. Gimel Cad, wouldn't it be poetic? Poetic, he says. Wouldn't it be disastrous if you were to die in our final battle? But I fear it may be that way. All right, you guys who are going to be the anti-flank. And then that leaves the cavalry to move up and deal with these two. And you guys here. All right. What do we got? Nadi Tarek. Moving in. And we got 2 cap. Ah, dear, I've just coughed and now my throat is not wanting to speak again. Woeful life. Coastal Wardens, Amrothian Archers. Right, just turn and face. Are they going to charge you? Because if they're going to charge you, then charge straight into them first. Glorious boys in gold, thundering down the hill. Just making short work of those before they've charged through. The squires have turned their backs. Poor form on their part. Our second line thunders in. And the Amrothian archers are... Who knows what the Amrothian archers are doing. They're moving off to try and shoot someone, but they're going to be sandwiched. Those knights have decimated those squires. Those squires have made it out alive. Everyone else is sprinting, aren't you?
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
Put yourselves into shield wall. If you can't go into shield wall, just be in defensive mode. Shut those archers down. Right, so that army is dead. That army is dead and gone. So Nadu Tarek, let's move you back up the hill. Similarly. Oh, no, they're going for it. They're going for it. They're going for it. No, they're trying to get the archers. And they're not going to try. They are going to get the archers, yeah. They always do that. They always go through the gap. It's so annoying.
Like this,
well, it's not annoying. It's just, it's better. Obviously, in other games, it's bizarre, actually, isn't it? Yeah. In Warhammer, if you leave a gap, they do not try and go down the middle, bizarrely.
Only half the enemy force general lies dead. That'll teach him to
I don't know where they're going, but I assume they're moving in on our cav. Oh no, they charged into the Nadu Tarek. Fantastic. Nadu Tarek, we're in shield wall. You may come out of that. You've been charged into. Oh, and they hit those on that side there. Right, and now we're defending against the primary army, which is better. You may come out of shield wall, and you may curl yourselves forward. Go and help those Knights of the Silver Swan. Go and hit those Seaward Lancers who have charged into our men. Turn and face them, boys. Or run away, or do something that's not just stand there and get hacked up to pieces by getting attacked in the back. If you could possibly try and keep yourselves alive, that'd be absolutely smashing. Alright, there's 2 of you. You outnumber them. There are 56 of them, and there are 60-something of you. Oh, 70, actually. 73 of you. And you are good against cavalry, so you should have them wrapped up. Amrothian Squire's not getting anything. Oh, and the pikes have arrived on the knights. Seaward Footmen moving in there. Let's move you around. Go and hit them. Not too bothered about arrow fire. Or our units being shot at.
Only half the enemy
Come on,
force
pikes.
remains.
Your pikemen. Oh. It crashed. Welcome back. So, we're fighting it again. And this time using what we learned from the last one, which is putting our units in shield wall formation, protecting our archers, forming a little bit tighter up as a line, and also using the Narrow and Aru's actual stake ability, which is better. So, our units over here have already dealt with the Zamrothian archers and squires, who join us just as that army is being killed off. There was nothing in the log to suggest why it crashed. It's just one of those, isn't it? Just one of those. The games are just a little bit old, and every now and then it likes to just remind you how old it is. Right, all three of you. There's no more cavalry to worry about, so spread out and move further forward. Give him cards at the back this time, so he can't be picked off in any unfortunate ways. Our shield wall is held firm against the charge of the enemy cavalry, and now our archers can pick off those forces out in front who still want to give us jip. Namely, these seaward bloody lancers. Gimmelcard, there is purpose for you now. We'll try and use the pikes. Oh, I bet I've just got many of you needlessly killed. Go on, Gimmelcard, go and get involved, son. Take your men with you and carve a line through these seaward lancers. With the support of our general, they'll be fine. Oh, we're getting shot at by those buggers over there. Alright, one of you. In fact, both of you. Go and deal with that. Gimmelcad will deal with those lancers. And the pikes can deal with those spearmen. The bulk of this army, as you can see, is still slowly coming in. They haven't really got here yet. But we might as well move out to meet them, mightn't we? Move yourself forwards. They're not going to take the bait on the stakes. The AI is at least clever enough to realise that stakes equal death for their cavalry, so they don't charge into stakes. But their Amrothian squires will prove of little use there because their own units have blocked the charge. They have got some Amrothian archers out there that are giving us a right trashing, unfortunately. It's interesting, isn't it? The AI always targets your archers with their archers, and your own archers always just seemingly target whatever is nearest. They never seem to change. Whereas the... you just wish... Well, I know, you, of course. You wouldn't want them to change, would you? You'd want them to follow your orders. I don't know what I'm banging on about them. Moaning about nothing. Moaning for the sake of moaning. A true British quality. Alright, archers, don't worry too much about those archers then. So fire at whatever you like again. There must be plenty of things out there. Have we... Yeah, there's the Talon Knights. They're going to be the real problem. This army now is going to have a bit of grief. But they've thundered in on their own terms, which is what matters. These fellows now caught up don't seem to be doing too well against those pikes. So if we can move our forces forward, you may come out of defensive mode.
The enemy general lies dead.
Ah, there we go. He's finally died. Captain Pelilas. Those are the lancers, I think. Ah, Knights of the Silver Swan. How do they do against Naru and Arus? Naru Royal Guard. Good charge there, guys. Excellent charge.
Enemy force remains.
Really top-notch quality charge there. Killed loads of them. Oh, we've got lancers and things routing from over here. Oh, no. I want you to come out of that, and I want you to come out of that. Perfect work. Got some squires there. But this is where the real money is going to be made by our forces today. Against those Talon Knights, I think. And this large grouping around the edge of those Royal Guard. And annoying, not annoyingly, but quite well matched up in that the Royal Guard obviously are our most elite. So they should be okay. Oh dear, our Royal Guard over there, though, are losing hand over fist to the Silver Swan.
Force remains.
Oh, they're from the Isle of Tolfalas. Oh, that's cool. That's very interesting. Oh, some of them have decided death is the best way forward, and they've killed themselves on our arrows, on our stakes. They don't take damage if they run through the stakes from behind. Something worth noting. We seem to be doing well against the Talon Knights, though, actually. I mean, it was always going to be a win, because we've just got our most elite forces, and they've got nothing, really. But, oh, the presence of... Oh,
The enemy general lies dead.
another enemy general has died. Oh, they're running now as well. So all that is now, I should imagine, is the... No, the Talon Knights are dead.
The enemy army flees the field.
Everyone's
Steward,
running
run them
except
down.
for someone. Someone out there has not broken yet. Aha, there's still some fighting here. What's that? Oh, the Knights of the Silver Swan, of course. Turn and face him. And he
The
goes
enemy
there.
army our foe is
332.
utterly vanquished.
We killed
But all
thousands.
who remember this day, remember it as the day of our most glorious victory.
227 kills. Nauru Royal Knights stormed it. Second place, Ar-Adûnâim Armsmen at 176. That's interesting to see. It's not often that melee units do tend to do well. Archers normally always take the cake, with cavalry usually a leagues out ahead. It'd be interesting, actually, on the subject of cavalry. Warhammer have recently just pushed their cavalry beta changes to the mob. Previously, only those that wanted to test them could apply the beta stat changes to their game, but now they've applied it to everyone. And so it's interesting to see if cavalry will now in Warhammer become as absolutely outrageous as it is in Medieval 2. I doubt it'll be as powerful.
Our courage and honor have conquered.
Always always been weaker as the games have gone on, cavalry. It's like Med 2 is the high point of cavalry killing and slaying, rather. Or no, if your cavalry slaying is something you are fond of, then Med 2 is absolutely the game for you. The later games just do not give cavalry the strength that Med 2 does. Admittedly, it's a broken strength, but it's damn fun watching the cavalry smash 3 or 4 or even 5 or 6 lines deep into a trash unit and rout them in a single charge. And I think I mean, obviously, how far they push into the enemy line is perhaps a little unrealistic. And by a little unrealistic, I mean very unrealistic. But I don't think it's too unrealistic to have a unit break after a single charge into it. That's a well-documented aspect of cavalry combat through history. And of course, they often then recollect themselves further away from the cavalry and then come back. But infantry units breaking as soon as the cavalry hits them is a very common theme throughout history, I think. And so that's possibly what they were trying to go for.
Your orders, my lord.
They just made the cavalry a little overtuned. Now, if I merge all of that, it'll drop right down, but I think it's worth it. So you're going to stay behind, you're going to stay behind, and it still likes us. Perfect.
Your orders, my lord.
With honor.
It's interesting. I don't know if... I assume, rather, that the AI simply doesn't have the knowledge or the know-how or the wherewithal to build towers. I assume it is not within their coding power to build towers, because they never, ever do. Now, we've lost sight on Kajba because our diplomat has moved, so we don't know if they're going to succeed there. I also don't know where their generals are. Oh, there's their factionaire, Lord Galadan. Where then is your steward? Bring him forth, for I have questions of him that would be answered.
Ships ready.
Are you building another ship? Yeah, I don't think your one's going to be all that useful, I'm afraid.
Ships ready. Ships ready.
Oh, it did let me merge you. Oh, brilliant.
Joining the fleet. Ships ready.
Oh, yes, and then it let me merge into you as well.
Naval forces.
All right.
Ships ready.
The greatest navy we can assemble.
Can you not tell friend from foe?
Oh, Minas Tirith hasn't started with his... it's not Minas Tirith, is it? But this place hasn't started with it. Oh, we've got 5 more units coming. Where are they coming from? You're giving me a catapult. That's 1. Another one, that's 2. Western Osgiliath, nothing. And Karlonde, only boats. So where are the remaining troops coming from?
Yes, my lord.
There are 3 more units coming from somewhere. Oh, there you go. 2 more coming from Minas Morgul, leaving only 1 more. I don't really want to wait another 3 turns for this army to be ready, though. Is there something in one of these that we were going to take? No, they've all got garbage garrisons, really, haven't they? I'll just take one of them.
As you wish. Merging armies.
That's all right, man. You can train yourself another one. Alright, okay. So we've got all of our units in 1 turn away, and our navy is now creeping up on the elven boats. They'll get it. Let's just save it because of that crash earlier. Let's just make sure that we've got a save point. Alright, we press on. Tirothride now down to 5 turns, and Esthala 10 turns. Blimey.
Yes.
But then we remember there is no danger south of the river. The only one who's going to attack Gimmelzor are reinforcements coming from Amrun, but if they are to leave Amrun, they'll leave that weakly defended, and Harad will snap it up. Or indeed forces coming from Amun Aithel. I don't think Amun Aithel will succeed, though. Oh, Angbor the Fearless, you are the final steward of Gondor. That's such a shame to have you die in such an ignominious way. Your story is one of legend. You're named as such on purpose by Aragorn of all people. And yet here you wither and die in this very much a backwater of Gondor, really. The nameless realms between the western fiefs and the eastern fiefs. A sort of area of nothingness that operates the central lands. That's how I always think of it in my head anyway, because Lebenin and Lassarnak are clearly defined, as is Pinnith Gelin, as is Anfalas. And so is Dol Amroth. And then you get the sort of vague areas like the Morthond Vale, which is exactly where this one is. The River Morthond running down there. But obviously the Morthond Vale is just the area directly around the river. The whole region isn't really it. And then you've got the Ringlow Vale over there. So this one's probably the Morthond, actually, because that's probably the Ringlow. I've got it on the map next to me and I'm not even looking at it. Oh, interesting. The Ringlow is this one. This one here is the Kirill. And then this one curling away over here is the Morthond. Yeah, although ours doesn't follow the pattern of the Morthond entirely accurately. No, I'm all over the place. Ringlow Vale is in completely the wrong place then. This is the Morthond, and then it curls back in on itself and comes up to the mountains. This added river here isn't actually on the map of Gondor that I have, and it's just been added for the purposes of giving more geographical features. This is the River Kirill that joins into the Ringlow, which is this main one coming down here. So the Ringlow Vale, which stretches all the way up to there in terms of provinces, is actually only this river here, and then it joins the Kirill. It maintains its name, though. Usurps the other. And then, of course, we have Anfalas, the Long Coast, which is the southern region, and Pinnith Gelin, the Green Hills, which occupies this entire unknown space. And then finally you get Andrast at the end, which is the Long Cape. Also known as the Ras Morthil, or Morthil. So I always think of this space as the sort of unnamed, the place to be defined outside of the rivers. But anyway, Gondor's over there. Our forces are ready. Perfect. So now all that remains is for our navy to dominate our foe. And the first victory goes to the Ar-Adûnâim. And the second victory will go to the Ar-Adûnâim also. Oh, no escape for the elves. There is no escape for the elves. And now we can't merge them because they've got stars. I think that's the requirement, isn't it? Right, merge you all together.
Ships ready, leaving the fleet.
Merge you together. So I can take the one ship away at a time, but I cannot deprive this admiral of his fleet. Karlonde, you no longer need the other ships. There's no point training those.
Your orders, my lord.
Pop in the boat and brace yourself. You're going down to Tolfalas.
Ships ready.
No, you might as well just not exist.
Ships ready.
Right, that army stands ready. What did Narian do? He's so undecided. Oh, and Admiral Maldor's swanned off with his tail between his legs. And the Gondorians trying to help with Admiral Maiman. It won't be enough, Gondor. Your days are numbered. How's our merchant doing? Oh, actually, speaking of merchants, someone mentioned that the Isengard one was called Saruman. Oh, yes, he's called Curanir. The Gondorian merchant's called Curanir. Curanir is Saruman's other name, or another name he is known by in Middle-earth, and just means wise one or intelligent one, I think, or words to that effect. Yeah, and that's just another name of his. And Kantar is earning 840 gold coins off of that one little hobbit spot. Oh, Callan had got a Barracks of True Sons, which gives us access to Ered skirmishers, and that seems to be about it. Very disappointing. But it takes away all the negatives, all the debuffs that we had in this place. I don't know why I'm queuing all these things up. They won't do anything. Karasast got the Barracks of True Sons as well, which gave it nothing, as you will note there. Unless it needs something... Gondor Infantry, Gondor Cavalry. We already had Gondor Cavalry, didn't we? No. Maybe it'll take a turn. Maybe it'll take a turn. Normally they're ready straight away. That's interesting. Gondor Cavalry. Militia. I missed the word militia. Oh, no, that does absolutely nothing. No, that's disappointing. You would hope that the second building would give you more units. Apologies. Were I still in the team, I would absolutely change that so that it would give more units, but I'm not anymore, so it's up to them if they want to do that. Oh, 2 Dol Gulbalax from Dol Amroth. Oh, where Dol Amroth's navy actually comes back. They can probably catch the scent of the spices they are so used to on the airs floating from Dol Amroth and the sound of the harps on the distant wind as they besiege their own port. But it won't help them.
Yes, my
Won't help
lord.
them one bit. We don't have to worry about Harad. We're allied to them. So let's head inland. Or should we link you up with Gimmelzor? Because you've both got depleted armies
Your
now.
orders, my lord.
You should probably link you up with
Yes, my
Gimmelzor. So start walking
We can
towards
go
him.
no further, my lord.
Not bothered if they take back Gobel Milon, to be honest, because this army here is very
orders, my
strong and will deal with anything. And in 4 turns, they'll be ready to go. So you might as well train units if you can. And speaking of training units, actually, yeah, it can't... Anything that the southern regions can give, send into this fort and give it. Oh, wow, look, we can train a whole army from Pelagia now. Yep, send those all down. Oh, Tadwetha, you don't like me. Well, take 4 units, see how we get on with that. Lynn here. Nothing from Lynn here. Just queue up buildings. Alright, yeah, that'll do. So Pelagia and Minwether will send some forces to that fort, just in case Narian does decide he's actually going to play a part in the last days of Dol Amroth. It's up to him whether or not he does or doesn't, but if he does, we'll be ready. The blood of the Ar-Adûnâim has proven its strength over both the realms of Gondor and Dol Amroth. The peoples of this land have come to learn once more that only in true Númenóreans does the rightful rule show its head. Our power and prestige is second to none. We remind them that the days of our Pharazôn are not long gone,
Glory
and glory and honour and victory
a most noble
are well within reach at all times. Oh, the Eastlings of Rhûn are now going to win before me. Gondor's leader is dead. Gondor's secondary leader is dead. Gondor as a faction is dead. I wonder if the ships turn to rebel ships or not. Oh, it would seem that the Amrothians know that I've got an army in my ships because they are pulling absolutely everything they have out to attack it. Alright, we'll train more ships. We will not be beaten on the water, thank you very much. Not by these upstarts. So, here's Gallows. I know that these campaigns are rarely given any information of any use to most of you, but here's Gallows' top tip. When transporting troops by ship, always end your turn with the army on land. Just in case your fleet is entirely wiped out, then your army will not be annihilated. It's always a good practice to get into the habit of doing.
Yes, my lord.
Alright, can we... No, we cannot. We cannot... We cannot... Oh, our reputation is immaculate. No, our reputation is despicable. Their reputation is immaculate. Oh dear. If we tried to somehow get peace with Dol Guldur, we could then ally with Isengard. And I think we're going to need to do that because Isengard will definitely attack me. So we're going to have to do that because I don't want to be attacked by them. I would like our live stream on Saturday to just be the defeat of Dol Amroth finally. I have no interest in fighting Isengard. Zagara Core. So we just got to do some diplomacy, and I'll do that now rather than do it in the live stream. Character reset. It's interesting that diplomats can only talk to one nation at a time.
My lord.
Always found that a bit odd.
We shall hear you out, but
Oh wow, they
expect
are
much.
all about that ceasefire. Are you losing then? They must be.
Your proposal is most worthy. Please continue with your suggestions.
Please continue with your suggestions. I'll give you 10k to never attack me again.
I must inform. Goodbye.
Sodgy then.
We look forward to our next meeting.
Alright, and then back again because I can't remember and it's been too long, so I'd have to press the up key about 1,000,000 times. Curse or stat. No, I did spell that right. I thought I did. And then move character 218, 202. And then reset. Perfect. Alright.
Yes, my lord.
You have something to discuss with us?
Balanced. Generous. You can have all my money because I'm feeling very generous. Yes. I'm surprised that Dol Guldur are that interested in
Yes, you speak honorably.
ceasefiring. I
Very
thought that
well.
was interesting. We've now taken up the position of Overlord of the Darkness, really, haven't we? In Sauron's absence, people have seen that we, the ones that humbled, he who was made to kneel, we are therefore his rightful successors, and all should bow before us. Although Harad getting some ideas. We're allies, Harad. You can't attack me. Go and deal... Oh, they took Kashbar! Yes. So Dol Amroth goes down to its final few provinces.
Yes. We shall continue tomorrow.
One of your units
Yes,
isn't going to
my
be able
lord.
to... I know we might be able to merge you all into one.
Your orders, my lord.
That
We
might
shall
make them...
continue tomorrow.
that siege might... No, the siege... It doesn't affect the siege. It doesn't affect how long it will be held out for by your troop sizes. Ah, Nidion's gone for Tir Thraid. I thought he might.
Your will, my lord.
Thought he
Yes,
might.
my
What a
lord.
coward. Alright, I am going to end the episode there, but what I will do is give you a preemptive toggle fog of war in case you can't catch the live stream and don't want to wait an hour and a half for it. So this is what the world is looking like shortly before our pending victory. Rune and Harad have absolutely destroyed Khand. So Khand now only have Sturlutzakand, and they won't hold that for long. Rune and Harad have already encircled them, and it's just a matter of seasons. They are gone, alas for them. Dorwinion holds only the region of Strondost, and that looks like it's not going to be held for much longer. Dorwinion's capital drastically under siege, and in fact, Karasant has been held... No, Karasant is a Northman settlement, ignore that. Mornathel is a huge garrison, I don't really know why. And that's the capital! Oh, that's poetic. It's because it's the most central, and the AI does move its capital. Dale is still somehow alive, and they've bizarrely as well managed to take Neburka and upgrade it. So they've got a little holdout in the Sea of Rhûn, and they do have most of the things north of the Kelduin, the river running. Excuse me, sorry. Erebor is held by Gundabad in this one as well, as it is in our Khazad-dûm campaign, and Gundabad doing relatively well for Gundabad. That is about all one could hope for Gundabad. But the dwarves really keeping them back. A lot of fighting going around with the board. Other than they've lost Erebor, but otherwise they're doing okay. Not really having any fighting with Rhûn by the looks of it. Skarn being left to its devices, as with Miraron and Crickethol. The elves still hold Thorfinn and Thranduil's Hall, so Dol Guldur haven't lost to them. Dol Guldur have lost Achnorion, but they've taken Idraichan. So there's a backwards and forwards between the elves and Dol Guldur. The loss... Oh, Rohan were wiped out a while ago, and Isengard now all-powerful. They probably would have attacked me if they had the chance, I think. But when you see it laid out like that, we really are powerful. And it doesn't feel like we own very much, but then you forget that there's quite a few regions in Mordor, and actually we do own a damn lot of this world. The spreading of the reborn Númenórean kingdom rises, or empire, really, for the Númenóreans. When does a kingdom become an empire? I would suggest when it spans more than one continent, and the Númenóreans certainly did that. A minor technicality that one of our continents happens to be beneath the sea, but it is still another continent. If you were able to breathe underwater, you would find Númenor down there somewhere. Although the world swallowed it whole, actually, didn't it? So you might need to be able to go through the Earth's crust as well. Whilst we're here, you can see what an upgraded elven city looks like, because there's Anon and Rod, which is a stronghold, sorry. It's not as visible from close up, but when you zoom out, you can see that it's got a ring outside. And that is very, very reminiscent of a lot of artists' depictions of Gondolin, and I would not be surprised if the Elite Dwarf had that as inspiration. Gondolin has a number of outer walls, and you see it in almost all the visual designs of the city. The elves, though, doing actually rather well while we're on the topic of the elves. And this, many regions, for them, is rather well. It would seem that the loss of the West actually has given them the impetus to do well in the East, which is rare. Angmar is absolutely all supreme, though, and I've never seen that. And I mean that. I have never seen Angmar win. As the AI, the odds are so stacked against them usually, there's no hope for them. And I don't know what it is. I assume it's because the elves attacked the dwarves, or rather the other way round. And the weakness thereby of the Blue Mountains, because they were at war with the elves and Angmar, was enough to allow Angmar to get on top. But Angmar have just schooled them. Bree only own Mitchell Delving, and the Northern Dunedain have Turngorthaid and Fenrisdrunin. Turngorthaid, if you're wondering, just means Barrow Downs in Sindarin, which is why I didn't like to call it that as a name, because you wouldn't call a town literally Barrow Downs. That's why I chose Mengelin. Although Mengelin itself wasn't really a brilliant name, because it literally means Greenway or Green Road, which of course is what the Great North Road became known as the Greenway, because it became overgrown. And I thought that was a better translated Sindarin name than Turngorthaid, because that literally just means Barrow Downs. And I thought that was bad. But now that I've said that out loud, the other one just means Greenway, which is just as bad, isn't it? So, but in any event, there we go. It's renamed. And Fenrisdrunin is held by the Northern Dunedain. So they haven't lost their capital. There's a little holdout of good here in the world. I mean, people might say we're evil because we've defeated Gondor. But once we've claimed Gondor, we're not inherently an evil people. We no longer follow Sauron. We no longer seek the misguided fortunes that he put in our minds. We just came to reclaim that which is rightfully ours. The Gondorians have been labouring under a false king for nearly 3,000 years now, and we are simply returning to put our bloodline rightly back on their throne. We don't have any ill will toward their people. We're just righting a minor administrative wrong. And we've done that with some aplomb. And were this campaign to carry on, really, I would have attacked Isengard, and it would have been a battle for the bloody ages, I assure you, which we would have won. But there gets to a point, doesn't there, where you've seen every unit we have to offer now. You've seen all the different ways that we can fight as our nation, and naturally, it's time to move on to a new campaign, and we're definitely at that point. But I am interested that Dol Guldur did seek an alliance so quickly, and I wonder if it's because maybe they're at war with Rune. No. Maybe then it was because they're at war with a few nations. Oh, they're at war with Khazad-dûm, Erebor, Dale, Dorwinion, Lothlorien, and the Woodland Realm, and all of them almost border them, so that's what it is. They just have so many enemies, they do not want to really get me to feature. And that's why they're happy to force a ceasefire. But anyway, there we are. That concludes today's episode. So the final episode of this campaign will be this Saturday morning at 11 o'clock GMT. For those of you over in the Americas, that's probably way too early in the morning. But for those of you here in Europe, it's just, depending on where you are, about midday. Do feel free to come and see the final campaign, the final episode for this campaign. We will crush Dol Amroth on Saturday, I have no doubt, and that will pretty much wrap up the campaign quite nicely. And thereafter, on the 28th of November, or whenever it is, the Monday that's nearest the 28th of November, the Reunited Kingdom will start and replace the Ar-Adûnâim forever. So I do hope you've enjoyed this Ar-Adûnâim trip. If you aren't going to watch the live stream, either live or thereafter, and I do hope you enjoyed today's little final intro from the perspective of Gimulcad the Victor. Ar-Ararum. Arurum, I believe I called him. Ararum. It didn't sound wonderful, but it does literally mean King of Kings, so I just had to call him that. But anyway, for now, and until we speak again, have a wonderful day, everyone. And Navar Naden Perimad Melonin. And farewell.